Remember, we plan in times of high motivation, so it's really important when you are thinking about your program moving forward, when you're thinking about your training, your nutrition, everything moving forward, that you've thought about all the potential barriers that might crop up once motivation diminishes, because motivation will diminish. It is a limited resource. You cannot count on it. It will go in time, as everything does. So it's really important that you're building what we call sustainable habits here and sustainable systems, that when motivation does wane or does dip a little bit, it doesn't sort of everything doesn't go off the rails and you don't just stop. Okay, which is probably the issue that you've had previously, and a lot of people have gone through that. So what's a pre-mortem? Well, a pre-mortem is kind of sending yourself, a year into the future and looking back and saying, okay, well, what went wrong? So it's a mindset and thought experiment. Look at what you are intending to do now. Look at your goals that you've written down. Look at the the training audit, the nutrition audit, your accountability and your balance audits, and say, okay, fantastic, that's great. Hop forward a year in your mind and say, everything's gone wrong. I didn't stick to it. I didn't achieve these goals, and none of these things I've written down actually happened. And then go back and say, well, why didn't they happen? Why didn't they happen? Why, where were the barriers? Where were the points of failure? And be, completely open and honest with yourself here. It's a really, really good way of finding out a little bit more about yourself and highlighting some of the barriers and some of the problems that you've probably had previously, and that you're going to overcome in this phase of your life, in this phase of your training. So go back, leap forward a year, go back, find out all the things that have gone wrong, and then start to think about strategies of how to overcome them before they become a problem. So things like, for an example, it might be, it got to summer and, there was, we started just eating ice creams and going out for beers in beer gardens a bit too often. And, I just lost all interest in training. It was, okay, well, what's the barrier? What's the problem? Well, the barrier or the problem was, I felt like I was missing out, fear of missing out, social pressures and things like that. So it's like, right, okay, let's go back. Could we then have thought, well, okay, let's look at these social pressures. Let's look at reevaluate my goals. And every time I feel the kind of feeling to want to go to the pub or sit in the beer garden, go back, look at my goals, talk to my partners about, talk to my accountability partner about what I'm feeling, and strategies to kind of either not drink or not eat as much, or strategies to kind of make sure that I stay on track with my training that way. And it might just be simple as, I tell people ahead of summer that, this summer, by the way, I'm not going to be out in the beer gardens as much because I'm, focusing on training and getting fit, and I need to get fit. And, you go back to all your reasons why you started doing a training program like this. And if you think about a lot of these pre-mortem things coming to what we talked about at the start of the process, which was, telling people in the first sort of phase of this, is that, you're going to be having some behaviour changes, you're going to be doing some things differently from now on. And that's a big sort of precursor to making sure that you're not going to fall into the same old behaviour traps that you did before. It comes down to that metacognition again. Can you step outside yourself and really think about, why you're making the decisions you're making? So do a pre-mortem. It can literally just be on the back of a I would say fag packet, but hopefully no one smokes. On a little A4 sheet, you can just write it down, or keep it sort of in mind. Post it to the group and really sort of have a 10-minute deep dive in your mind about all the things that can go wrong. Just write them down, nice and quickly, and then, either post them in the group or feed them back to us, and we'll go through them, we'll think together, we'll crowdsource again some strategies of how we can overcome some of those issues. Okay, so post in the group, let us know. Stay accountable, let us know how your training's going, let us know how your nutrition's going. Everyone's kind of there for everybody else. So, all good. Okay? Have a think about it. Pre-mortem. Get it in the group. Bye now.